Welcome, everyone, to the first ever Parkway Athletics podcast. My name is Jamie Burdish. I'm so excited to get this podcast series started. I'm joined by Brian Kessler today. Brian is the athletic director over at Parkway West. So first, to get things started, we're going to get into an outlook over the season for all the fall sports, but I want you to introduce yourself, Brian. Give the viewers a little introduction about what you do, what your daily routine kind of looks like, and all that good stuff.
Well, hey, everybody. Jamie, thanks for having me. My name's Brian Kessler. I am the activities director here at Parkway West. A Longhorn at heart, 1989 graduate of here. And I've been back at West. I just can't seem to leave the place. I've been back at West. This is my 17th year, 16th year as the athletic director. And what does my day look like? Man, that's a hard one to answer. Depends what emergencies arise during the day. In a high school, something always pop up that needs immediate attention, especially as it pertains to, helping kids be as successful as they possibly can be. But obviously, when you're dealing with, 90 some odd coaches and hundreds of kids participating in activities and events, it's just a lot of organization. People ask me all the time, when you retire from athletics, what do you think you're going to do? I said, well, feel like with this job, I'd be a great wedding planner, but I'm not sure I really want to do that.
Gotcha. So obviously things were pretty tough with COVID last year. So I kind of want to ask you a little bit about your daily routine during that time and how you as an athletic director kind of manage sports both in the fall and the spring. We're going to get into more of fall sports, but in general, it affected every single sport in high school. So what was that like, the adjustment to make the adjustments you had to make? What was that like for your job to make it more complicated, more challenges? But I guess that's what you love doing. So what did you kind of face during that COVID period? And now that it's over, we're going to get a little bit more into what you're looking forward to now that it's kind of simmered down a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, let's, say COVID was a tough time for everybody, socially, emotionally, physically. And it was a tough time for adolescents, for our young adults. I guess the first thought that comes to my mind when I think back to last summer when we had camps, or 2 summers ago, not this past summer, was that we were able to have camps early on. And then as the summer progressed, the camps were sort of ending and COVID was kicking up a little bit more. And we went into the fall with athletic activities being canceled, at least early on. And, my first thought is a thank you to our coaches who did so much to ensure that they stayed engaged with our kids, even when we weren't playing sports yet, whether it was Zoom or phone calls or Google Chat or whatever. And our kids, my main feeling about COVID was how special our kids were, and how incredible and how flexible and understanding our kids were. It was the best I've ever seen a group of kids rally in my 28 years of education. It was really a neat thing to oversee, and the way that our kids and our coaches kind of came together. And we talked about that early on, like, this is what athletics and activities is supposed to teach you: how to deal with adversity, how to overcome adversity, how to understand there's going to be highs and lows in life, and how to try to stay even keel and do your best, do your part, take care of yourself. And our kids were absolutely amazing. So kudos to them. Same thing with our coaches. It seemed like every day or 2 days or week, the guidelines were changing from the county health department, which meant they were changing in Parkway, and even more trickling down the line, they were changing in athletics, from, staying 6 feet apart with all practices, being masked at all times, no games. You could start to practice, but you couldn't play. Then we finally got to a point where we could play. Kids having to bring their own water from home. I mean, it was just a completely different atmosphere. But the one constant was kids and adults were interacting and building relationships, and they were taking care of each other. And at some point in time, obviously, they got back to doing what they were passionate about, which is playing whatever their sport or activity was for the most part. We still had clubs that couldn't meet, and that was disappointing, but I understood. So the one constant, and from to steal a line from Field of Times, the one constant through all the time, Ray, has been the kids and the coaches and the relationships that they build and they have together. It was amazing last year, and that's my takeaway from COVID. There are lots of bad things that happen with COVID. We all know that, but there are also some really good things that happen with COVID too. And I hope people, that now that they have time to reflect and look back, they can see those good things that happened.
Yeah. So I heard two different words that I kind of want to build upon is the atmosphere and passion. So I want to go a little bit more into the in-depth look of the fall sports coming up. The atmosphere, I'm sure, is going to be crazy now that things are starting to get back to normal. I hate saying that they're back to normal because they really aren't. COVID's still around. But what are some of your big excitements, and what are you looking forward to most about these fall sports? Get into the specific sports, but in general, what can spectators expect to see? What are some of the excitements going around, the chatter that's going around Parkway Athletics right now?
So first of all, as normal as possible is what I would say. Things aren't 100% normal yet, but as normal as possible. Our outdoor events, we will have no restrictions. We ask that spectators try to maintain 3 feet of distance, which is basically the guidance that we've received is basically an arm length away. No masks are going to be required outside. There's no spectator maximums. Anybody who wants to come to an outdoor event can. Inside, we are going to have masking, obviously. We're asking that all spectators who come on to a Parkway property, to a gym, or to a swimming pool remain masked while they're in attendance. And same thing, try to maintain the 3 feet of social distancing, arm's length away. But the good news is we're back watching our kids. You're back watching your kids perform without restrictions. Grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, moms and dads, community members can come watch our kids do what we've always watched them do. And I've got a senior at a high school, and it was tough for all of us not being able to watch our kids last year. But for me, as an activities director last year, if it meant me not being there for my kid to be able to be involved, then that's what we had to do. I'd rather my kid be involved than not involved, and I was willing to make that sacrifice. Well, I'm glad we don't have to do that this year. Maybe we can make up for some lost time and have a lot of Longhorns, current and former and future, on campus watching our kids do what they're passionate about doing, and supporting our kids and our coaches. And really, I think that a lot of us through COVID have been able to take a step back and really appreciate some things that maybe we took for granted, whether it be our health or our family or whatever it is. For me, it's, watching our kids do what they love to do, and our coaches do what they're great at doing. And I'm just going to appreciate that. I'm going to appreciate, we had our red and blue night last Friday, and the campus was packed full of people. It was so great to see people on campus socializing and supporting one another, each other's kids, and our community as a whole, and Longhorn Universe, as Dr. Mitchell likes to call it. So that's kind of my big thing is, hey, we're back, and that's exciting to say.
Yeah, so I want to start catering a little bit more of these questions towards your athletics. I've heard a lot about your swim team, so can you introduce us a little bit about what that will look like this year, how the team's looking, maybe past success that they've had, and just kind of an overview of that sport specifically?
Yeah, so there might be one other program in the state as decorated as ours. The neat part about, I think, our swim program is, we're a public school, and we've got over 10 state titles in each our boys and girls program. I believe the other programs that are even close to us are private schools, so a boy only, male only sport or school, or a female only school. We're a public school, and we're able to do it through hard work from our kids, a lot of hard work from our coaches. Sure, the Parkway Swim Club helps us out quite a bit. But the one thing that, when you develop a culture and a climate in a program, and it's a winning culture and climate, the kids who are coming into the program year after year know and understand that expectation. And our kids put a lot of time in on their own, through their club sport, through their club seasons, whether it's with Parkway or someone else. And swimming for the school and our aquatic program means something to them. We have tremendous parental support in our aquatics booster program. So I think there are a lot of things at play there. Wish our pool was in a little bit better shape than it is, but that's a conversation for another day. But it's truly amazing that both our male and female programs have had the success that they've had.
Yeah. So I want to open the door more of student athletes specifically. Is there anyone off the top of your head that the viewers and the spectators this year will be able to look at and kind of be excited about seeing on either this in the swimming pool, on the football field, on the softball field, anything that revolves around fall sports? Is there anyone you can think of off the top of your head that is a player to watch, quote unquote?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I tend to stay away from the individual specific mentions because you always leave someone out. We certainly have a host of kids who are, we have a returning state champion couple in swimming. We have some football players who have committed to play Division I football. We've got, a softball team that's coming off a loss in a district championship game. We've got so many programs right now with kids. We've got kids signing collegiately all over the place, whether it's a D1 level or a D2 level or a D3 or an NAIA. We've just got so many kids who are having so much success on the field. And when I say success, I'm not just meaning athletically. Success in athletics comes through, what your life looks like in 10 or 15 or 20 years. And we have so much success. And we have a number of athletes that you'll read about in the paper or you'll see tweeted about because they've had an outstanding athletic accomplishment. And I think the fun part is there's always that kid who's kind of laying in the weeds waiting to take the next step athletically. And those are the fun parts too. The kids who jump up out of nowhere and shock you and end up reaching one of their goals and dreams of becoming a collegiate athlete. So I would just encourage people to come to campus and watch our athletic teams perform and do what they do and watch the competition, enjoy it, and notice the kids who already stand out and the kids who are trying to stand out, the kids who are working hard to change their athletic, future.
So you talk a lot about the dedication and hard work from your student athletes, being able to go to a collegiate level and play the sport that they love. But what does that to you say about the culture and everything about Parkway West athletics and Parkway athletics as a whole?
One of the neatest days I think we have every year at the high school level is collegiate signing day. And when you look down at the kids and the parents standing next to their kids who are about to sign a letter of intent, you think back to, man, everything that those kids have done to accomplish that mission. And, truth be told, it's not just their high school experience that gets them there. I think we all know that. It's their parents building that relationship with their little league coaches or their club coaches and helping to push and motivate those kids. Turning them over to the school system as kindergartners, trusting Parkway or wherever they're at. A lot of them are Parkway through and through. And then the teachers molding those kids in the classroom from kindergarten through 12th grade. Administrators caring about those kids all the way through. And obviously the high school coaches get involved in building those strong relationships and continuing to build the skill set, but also the adult influence in their life who we would hope is a fantastic role model and teaches them how to overcome adversity. And then they're sitting there signing, meeting one of their goals and dreams in their life, their young life. And you have a moment to think back about it, all of the things that had to happen and the sacrifices that kid had to make in most circumstances to be able to get to where they're at. A lot of people don't understand that. And there are sacrifices kids have to make in order to become collegiate athletes, whether it's not eating a extra slice of pizza or not going out with their friends on a Thursday night. Instead, they're going to train or take a hitting lesson or go to their club soccer practice or what. There's just sacrifices in life, and we all know that. And a lot of I tell my daughter all the time. I tell the kids, you get out of it what you put in it. And outwork your words is what we tell kids. Susan Dean said that to kids a long time ago, and we still say it today. But at the end of the day, as coaches, what we try to do here is we try to prepare our kids for the path and not the path for the kid. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be struggles. There's going to be failure. Failure is a good thing while they're in high school. They've got a lot of people around them to put them back, help get them back on the path. And then they've got to clear their own path, because once they leave here, people aren't clearing the path for them. I promise you that. So we're trying to teach kids how to navigate that path, and we're catching them when they fall and putting them back on the path. And so try again. And that's the culture and climate that we try to build, is have open, honest communication, conversations, deal with adversity in a positive way, and work hard, be respectful, be responsible. Al Burr, who was the first principal here, used to tell people, we don't have a lot of rules at Parkway West. We have high expectations, and I think things are still kind of that way right now. And that's kind of the climate and the culture that we've built, and we've provided an opportunity, I feel, for kids to accomplish whatever they want to accomplish. At the end of the day, it's up to them. But there's a lot of people, whether it's their parents, their grandparents, their aunts or uncles, coaches, teachers, administrators, to help guide them down that path. But ultimately, it's got to be their path. It's not our path, it's their path. We're here to advise and guide, but that's about it.
Gotcha. So to circle back and kind of end things, I want to ask you a little bit about the upcoming events and games that people can look forward to, soccer games, football games, the swim meets, all that good stuff. What is upcoming in the next few weeks that people can look out for?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to get through Friday. The first 3 or 4 weeks of school are kind of crazy for an activities director, but we open at home on Friday. We have home. What do we have? We have home softball, home freshman soccer. We have home JV tennis, and our first varsity football game against Parkway South. I expect a rather large crowd. I think South will bring their contingent, and I'm sure the red and blue will show up as well. And then we're away next Friday with football. Soccer starts playing next week. All of our schedules can be found on our Parkway West Athletic website. We use a program called Arbiter. Arbiter Live is where all of our schedules can be found. And the second I change a contest or edit a contest, change a date, change a time, everything can be found there. Just excited. I'm excited to see our spirit groups, our marching band, our cheer, our POMs back on the sideline doing their thing. Being a student here 30 years ago and still today, the energy that our spirit squads bring to our athletic events is just absolutely amazing. And we're so proud of everything they do. A couple of those programs are under new leadership this year. So that's pretty exciting to see what they're going to do in the year ahead. I would be remiss if I didn't go back to talk about last year for a second. We did have 2 state championships. Boys volleyball, Susan Anderson is our head coach in boys volleyball. I believe it's her 2nd state championship. And water polo won another state championship. I believe it's their 3rd or 4th. I can't remember. They kind of run together. When you win that many, no, I'm kidding. But Charlie Catelli is our head coach in water polo. So we had 2 state champions, which is pretty spectacular. Susan Anderson had a 2nd place state finish in girls volleyball in the fall. So she had a heck of a run last year. I'm not sure if she'll be able to repeat that anytime soon. But it's the neat thing about that volleyball 2nd place finish and the state championship is those kids wore masks all year, even during competition. Our basketball teams, girls and boys, had to wear masks all year during competition, and I never once heard them complain. All they did was go out and compete and try their best, and they all had pretty darn good seasons. So I'm just so proud of them for what they did and how they overcame adversity.
Yeah, well, I'm so honored to be able to have you on this podcast series. I hope that the viewers got a chance to learn about yourself and the activities and sports going on at Parkway West. We're so excited to get this podcast series started. We're going to be doing a lot more interviews with athletic directors like Brian Kessler and coaches, student athletes, all that good stuff. But with that being said, thank you all so much for joining, and we'll be back with you guys very soon.